Hey y'all, Zach McDonald, your real estate agent with Real Property Associates, and I think finally open houses are dying in large part because of COVID-19. Now, it's possible that open houses open up again at some point, but I think it's just best that open houses stop forever. And at least for me, I have no desire to go into a 3,000 square foot house with 20 other people at the same time and hang out and look at a house. I don't see when that becomes exciting again for somebody. I think some people are at different places. If we look through where people are at as far as their precautions with COVID-19 and just now I think viruses in general and their health, it's possible that some people would still be interested, but I think it's just best that they end. And it's not necessarily for health reasons, although that's a factor. I think there's just no point anymore. And recently, because of COVID-19, real estate agents have been trying to think, okay, what can we do? What can we do to continue doing what we've always done, the traditions, right? I think there's a time for tradition and holding on to that, and then there's a time for change and adapting. And people have tried to adapt the open house and still do an open house, but do it virtually, like maybe on FaceTime or something like that. And honestly, I think it's the dumbest idea to continue to do open houses virtually. I mean, let's be honest, outside of my friends on Facebook or my YouTube followers, which I actually have YouTube followers, most real estate agents don't, outside of those platforms, who's really seeing these open houses? Now, recently, our multiple listing service has made it so you can publish the link to the live stream for the open house. But what's really the point of you listening to me walk through the house and be like, oh my gosh, this is the kitchen, it's so beautiful? Because really in an open house, that's not what happens. In an open house, the real estate agent puts out signs. They're hoping to have traffic come in, but pretty much nobody except for the neighbors actually comes to the open house because of the signs. And then you publish it on the multiple listing service. It gets syndicated out to all these other real estate websites like Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, Realtor.com, whatever your flavor is. And then people that are looking for houses like that or think they might be interested in houses like that house in your neighborhood are going to come take a look at it during the open house if they either don't have an agent or aren't currently working with an agent. So you have people coming to these open houses and they wander around the house and the agent's there answering questions, things like that, but they're not walking around. This is the kitchen, isn't it beautiful? This is the bathroom, it's so awesome. It has tile. I mean, you can see that when you're seeing the video. So in my opinion, the virtual open house is pointless, especially with some of the other technologies that are available. So online, you can do a video tour. So for every single listing, I have a video tour, and I've been doing this way before COVID-19. So my videographer, he shoots a sweet video, drone footage, interior, exterior, and you get a video of the entire house. On top of that, we also do the 3D walkthrough tours, Matterport 3D scans. I think Matterport's the best. There's lots of other technologies. Some of them are more cost effective, they're cheaper, but they're definitely not as good. So we always do the Matterport scans. You can literally walk through the house like you're there. You can zoom in and you can look at the blemishes on the wall. You can also see the exterior. They have a 360-degree view function where you can see the whole entire exterior of the house as well. You can see the bushes if you really wanted to zoom in on those. You can also see the neighbors and what their houses look like. So you pretty much don't even need to go to the house in order to make a decision on whether you like it or not. So for somebody that's going to an open house, you might as well watch the video tour and do the 3D tour, and you can kind of see exactly what the houses are like without going in person. Now, historically, open houses were for people that wanted to get into the house and see the house. So when my mom was a real estate agent back in the early 90s and up to the early 2000s, the internet really wasn't around. It was just getting started, but you didn't go on the internet, look at listings, type in your budget, and get a bunch of houses that popped up. You had to actually come into a real estate office, sit down with your real estate agent, leaf through literally either a book at the later years, or before it was a bunch of note cards with some information written on it in a picture. So you're like sifting through all this information with your real estate agent, and then you'd go out and see each house. Now, the open house was really helpful in that time because you put the signs out, people would go, they'd go into the houses, see them. It was a little bit easier. And at that time, and even now, real estate agents are holding open houses because they want to get more business. And they know that. Real estate agents are like, oh, we do open houses and we're going to have food and we're going to make it a big party. We're going to invite all the neighbors. And I do these things. But the secret is you want the neighbors to come and have a party because you want to meet the neighbors and you would love to be their real estate agent someday. The neighbor's not going to buy the house. They might know somebody that wants to move into the neighborhood. That is true. But the neighbors, you just want to meet the neighbors and get in front of them. And for the people coming to the open house, traditionally the neighbors, if you don't do some kind of a meal or some kind of a preview function for them, they're going to come to the open house. You have your neighbors wandering around in your house. They're not going to buy it. And then you have buyers that either don't have a real estate agent, which is fine, or most likely they're not qualified. They're just getting started with their search. They don't even know what kind of house they want. They definitely aren't ready to buy it, and they're wandering around in your house. So you've got neighbors, unqualified buyers, and maybe a buyer that is qualified without their real estate agent. So that person could easily contact the listing agent, contact me if I was a listing agent to see it. And then the other group of people you have are people that have real estate agents that are just out looking at open houses on the weekend, and they could go see the house with their real estate agent in a private showing, which is what we're seeing a lot more of right now. So if I was a seller, I wouldn't want the neighbors wandering around in my house, whether there was COVID-19 or not. I wouldn't want unqualified buyers wandering around in my house because those people aren't going to be able to buy my house, whether they wanted to or not. And if they did like it from the 3D tour and the video tour, they could get their pre-approval, reach out to me or whatever, and take the steps, right? They could take the steps to get approved. And if a buyer has an agent, or they don't, and they're ready, they could get an agent, or their agent could show them the property. So to me, you don't need an open house anymore. So let's be done with it. Let's be done with open houses forever. Let's let them die. Let's let them stay dead. Let's not try to keep them around a little bit longer. The virtual open house is super stupid. It's dumb. I've talked to clients about it that we're listing where I'm like, hey, we're not going to do open house anymore because we can't, right? People are still like, are we going to do open houses? I'm like, no, we're not going to do open houses. We're not allowed to. Nobody's allowed to. We could do a virtual open house. And everybody's like, that sounds so stupid. Even my clients are saying that. People I'm talking with think it's dumb and I don't have to say it. They're like, no, that sounds like a dumb idea. Because I'm doing a virtual tour. I have a virtual tour for every listing. I have a video tour for every listing. I have HD photos, custom websites. What else do you really need? It's all you could ever need to entice somebody to come take a look with their agent, a pre-qualified buyer, pre-approved buyer with their agent. That's what you want as a seller coming into your house, whether that's me or that's another agent. And for me as a real estate agent, I don't work with buyers that are like, I'm kind of maybe looking someday in the future. We have a conversation initially. I get to know them a little bit. We get them started on their pre-approval so that when we actually go and look at houses, they have their pre-approval done. They're ready. They know what they can afford. They've got their financing lined up and they're ready to take action on a purchase. Now, sometimes it takes a little time to get to that point, and we will also do a buyer consultation and we'll have that conversation. What are you looking for? Needs and wants analysis. We talk about the home buying process, and then we get pre-approved. So every client of mine is informed, confident, ready to go, and that's the kind of buyer that you want if you're a seller looking at your house. So for buyers, I think you got to start getting prepared. And it's great to look at Redfin, Zillow, Trulia, go online and start exploring what's out there in your price point and in the neighborhoods you're thinking about, getting to know the cost to live there, right? What kind of house can you buy in a neighborhood? That's awesome. And you can do that. You can even drive the neighborhoods. I've had some clients that are driving around. Maybe traditionally they would have gone to open houses when they weren't quite ready. They're just driving around. You can still see the neighborhood. You can even see the house from the outside, and you have all this other, the 3D tours and the video tours. But, until you're actually ready to buy, there's no need to go inside of houses and look at houses. So buyers, get yourself ready. Get your ducks in a row. Get your pre-approval. Have that buyer consultation, whether that's with me or with somebody else. And then once you have that, we can go look at houses. And sellers, I would just say, let the open house die. Let it die. If you have an agent already, tell them like, I don't want a virtual open house. And when they can do open houses again, I would think really long and really hard about it. Like I would really, really think about it, because the majority of the people wandering around in your house during an open house aren't qualified and aren't intending to buy it. And the real estate agents love hosting open houses because they want to hopefully meet a buyer that doesn't have an agent, or meet one of the neighbors that might want to sell their house, hoping to get lucky. But for you as an owner, I don't think it's really in your best interest. So if I was you, I would advocate for agent-only, pre-approved buyers coming to look at my house, especially right now, but even into the future. All right, so let's recap really quickly. COVID-19 has shut down a lot of things. Well, okay, let's be real. COVID-19 hasn't. Local governments have shut down things. And in Washington, our governor has shut down most things, and we're slowly reopening. And heck, we might even go backwards, it sounds like. So that's a whole nother conversation that I don't want to have right now. And open houses are a part of that. It's a large gathering. We're not allowed to have it. So no open houses. And I think ultimately open houses are dead at this point, and I hope they stay dead. Okay, that's my opinion. Now, this is an agent who has gotten business out of open houses. I have met buyers and I've met sellers at open houses. And earlier on in my career, that was a great way to generate business. But it was about me, right? It was about me. I was holding open houses for other people, and I was holding open houses for my own clients. And I was just hoping to get lucky and meet people. And it works, like you can do that. But I think that's the dirty secret about open houses. And maybe it's not a secret, but it's more about the real estate agent getting business than it is a benefit to you as a seller, because you have unqualified buyers in the house and you have neighbors in the house. So I hope that with virtual tours and the technology that's available right now and video tours, that open houses would just stay dead, and that pre-qualified, pre-approved buyers will go with their real estate agents to look at houses. Thanks so much for watching my video here. Open houses are dead. I would love if you would leave your feedback in the comments. I'd love to know what your thoughts are if you're a real estate agent watching this, or if you're somebody thinking about buying or selling. I really would love to get some feedback on this one and get your thoughts, because I think this is an open discussion and I love hearing other people's viewpoints. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video, I know you got some value, so please subscribe to my channel.